Right. So in the last class, we had discussed about Cori cycle and gluconeogenesis. In this
Good
class, we'll start.
afternoon, sir.
Afternoon. In this class, we'll start with HMP shunt pathway. Okay. Second, HMP pathway. इसको हेक्सोस मोनोफॉस्फेट पाथवे बोलते हैं, hence the name HMP. Okay. It is hexose monophosphate. Hexose monophosphate pathway, specifically because it will start off with glucose 6 phosphate. It is called hexose 6 phosphate. Okay. Glucose being the hexose molecule, it start along with one phosphate. It is called the hexose monophosphate pathway. Anyway, you can also call it a pentose phosphate pathway or phosphogluconate pathway, yeah, Warburg Dickens pathway. All of these refer to the same pathway. Okay. It is also called Warburg Dickens pathway or pentose phosphate pathway or phosphogluconate pathway. Now the thing is that आपके एग्जाम में they can ask this to you in any which way. So they might ask you explain HMP shunt. They might ask you explain Warburg Dickens singly. Warburg Dickens pathway. They might ask you to explain pentose phosphate pathway. All of them refer to the same thing. Now, HMP shunt pathway, coming to the main thick of it, HMP shunt pathway is essentially another way for your cell to generate energy. Okay? It is another way, it is an alternative method for glucose oxidation. Now, आपके cell में energy कैसा मिलती? It will oxidize glucose, it will break down glucose and it will get ATPs. ठीक है? Glycolysis was that. Now, in case the cell is not able to perform glycolysis or it is not able to perform citric acid cycle, we'll study about citric acid cycle later on as well. But let us suppose both of these are not working or it wants to find an alternative method to citric acid cycle or to glycolysis. That is when HMP shunt pathway will come into picture. Now, the main reason or the main objective of performing HMP shunt pathway at the level of your cell will be for two products. One is NADPH, ठीक है, and pentoses. ये दो products के लिए HMP shunt pathway perform होता. HMP shunt pathway is performed in your cell for specifically getting these two products. One is to get NADPH and the other is to get pentoses. Now, uh, pentoses are responsible for or pentoses are required to synthesize nucleic acids, your RNA, DNA, even to produce nucleotides. So nucleotides like ATP, NAD, FAD, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, या FAD, flavin adenine dinucleotide, या CoA बनाना है, coenzyme A बनाना है, ये पूरों में you will need pentoses. Okay, that is the importance of pentoses. You will need it for RNA and DNA. Okay, you will also need it for nucleotides like ATP, FAD, and NAD. NADPH is required for reductive synthesis of fatty acids. So this plays a very important role in production of fatty acids and steroids, specifically in production of cholesterol. Now, why is cholesterol important? Cholesterol is the precursor to several hormones. ठीक है, cholesterol के basis से several other hormones are made. For example, टेस्टोस्टेरॉन, ईस्ट्रोजन, प्रोजेस्टेरॉन, वो पूरे कोलेस्ट्रॉल से ही बनते. ठीक है, इफ कोलेस्ट्रॉल इज नॉट प्रेजेंट इन योर बॉडी, स्टीरॉयड हार्मोन्स विल नॉट बी फॉर्म्ड. So for the production of steroid hormones itself, you need NADPH. It is responsible for amino acid synthesis, non-essential amino acids which are not consumed from outside you, which are produced inside your body. Those amino acids will be synthesized using NADPH for several antioxidant reactions, for maintenance and preservation of RBC membrane. ठीक है, जो एरिथ्रोसाइट की मेम्ब्रेन रहती, वो मेम्ब्रेन की इंटेग्रिटी, टू मेक श्योर दैट इट इज नाइस एंड हेल्थी, to make sure that iron ion is present inside the hemoglobin properly in reduced form. For all of that, you need NADPH. So NADPH plays a very important role inside your body. HMP shunt pathway essentially is responsible for production of both of these. Okay. Now, coming to the reaction itself, we have HMP shunt pathway in two phases. Okay. HMP shunt pathway is divided in two phases. The first one is oxidative phase. Then we have non-oxidative phase. Now, before I start HMP shunt pathway, the reactions and all, one thing I need you to remember is that whenever a single pathway of HMP shunt occurs, a single cycle occurs, you will see oxidative phase occurring 3 times and this occurring 1 time. All of that will be included in a single HMP shunt pathway. I'll repeat once again. In a single HMP shunt pathway from start to end 10-12 reactions जो भी रहते हैं, in all of those 12 reactions, you will see that the first half, that is the oxidative phase of the reaction, the whole reaction will occur 3 times because the product that you get at the end of oxidative phase will be needed 3 times. Okay? The non-oxidative phase will be repeated only 1 time. So it will occur only 1 time. It will not be repeated 1 time. It occurs only 1 time. All right. Now, coming to the reaction itself, please feel free to stop me at any time if you're not understanding anything or if you want me to repeat anything. Okay. We'll concentrate on the oxidative phase first. This is the oxidative phase. Okay. From glucose 6 phosphate to ribulose 5 phosphate. The reaction of HMP shunt pathway starts with glucose 6 phosphate. From here to ribulose 5 phosphate is the oxidative phase. First, glucose 6 phosphate will undergo oxidation. It will lose hydrogens. Okay. Gaining hydrogens or addition of hydrogens is called reduction. Loss of hydrogens is called oxidation. Another way to put it is addition of oxygen molecules is called oxidation and removal of oxygen molecules is called reduction. वैसा भी बोल सकते हो आप. There are several ways of painting that oxidation and reduction. You can also tell it in terms of protons and electrons. Anyway, here what is happening is glucose 6 phosphate in the presence of a dehydrogenase enzyme, which is G6P dehydrogenase. You will also have a magnesium molecule that will act as a cofactor here. In the presence of magnesium and glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase, glucose 6 phosphate is losing two hydrogen molecules and it is converting into 6 phosphogluconolactone. Okay, that is the first reaction. Now that 6 phosphogluconolactone gets hydrolyzed. ठीक है, in the presence of gluconolactone hydrolysis. यहाँ पर खाली gluconolactase बोल के mentioned है, that is wrong. It is gluconolactone hydrolase. It is a hydrolase enzyme because it is causing addition of water molecule. यहाँ पर forget about that H plus molecule that is coming out. ठीक है, for now just forget about this molecule. इसको भूल जाओ आप. ठीक है, water is being added to 6 phosphogluconolactone. And because of which what you'll get is 6 phosphogluconate. 6 phosphogluconate again undergoes oxidation. It will lose more hydrogens. ठीक है, यहाँ पर ये H plus ऐसा आता. So NADP comes, it will take away two hydrogen molecules in the form of NADP, NADPH plus H plus. Reaction is occurring in the presence of another dehydrogenase enzyme. This time, because it is dehydrogenating 6 phosphogluconate, the enzyme will be called 6 phosphogluconate dehydrogenase. Okay. So once again, from the start of the reaction, we have यहाँ पर देखो, first 6 glucose 6 phosphate is undergoing an oxidation reaction. It is losing hydrogens, getting converted into 6 phosphogluconolactone. That is undergoing hydrolysis. Water is being added to it essentially in the presence of gluconolactone hydrolase. Okay? And it gets converted into 6 phosphogluconate. 6 phosphogluconate gets converted into ribulose 5 phosphate when it loses hydrogen, when it undergoes a dehydrogenation reaction, or essentially when it undergoes oxidation. Another important step that happens here is it will lose a molecule of carbon dioxide. Now keep in mind, till now we were dealing with 6 carbon molecules. Glucose is a 6 carbon molecule, phosphogluconolactone is a 6 carbon molecule. पूरे ये 6 carbon molecule step, first 3. Ribulose is a 5 carbon molecule. Because 6-phosphogluconolactone loses one carbon dioxide, it will result in the formation of one 5 carbon molecule, that is ribulose 5 phosphate. Ribulose 5 phosphate is a ketone group. ठीक है. Now that ribulose 5 phosphate जहां तक बन रहा, that is the first phase of the reaction, that is the oxidative phase. These four reactions will represent the oxidative phase of the reaction. यहां तक समझ में आया? If you did not understand anything till this point, or if you want me to repeat anything till this point, please feel free to ask.
Sir, repeat once again, sir.
Okay, which अच्छा ठीक है. See, glucose से glucose 6 phosphate बन रहा है. You have glucose 6 phosphate molecules. Glucose 6 phosphate molecules are essentially one glucose molecule with the phosphate attached to the sixth carbon. ठीक है, that is glucose 6 phosphate. That fellow is losing two hydrogens. In the first reaction, it is undergoing a dehydrogenation reaction. In the presence of an enzyme called dehydrogenase, it is losing two hydrogens. Those two hydrogen molecules are taken up by NADP. ठीक है, तो आपका the what do you call, the intention of doing HMP shunt is to form ribulose, or essentially to form pentoses, to form 5 carbon molecules and to form NADPH. So the first thing your body will do is it will try to remove NADPH, or to generate NADPH by removing hydrogens from glucose 6 phosphate. If you remove hydrogens, you will get 6-phosphogluconate. If you pour water onto it, essentially you add water molecule to it, you will get 6-phosphogluconolactone, and sorry, 6-phosphogluconate. That 6-phosphogluconate will again undergo dehydrogenation, and this time it will not just undergo dehydrogenation, it will also lose a carbon molecule in the form of carbon dioxide. Okay, so the first three molecules that you see here, glucose 6 phosphate, 6 phosphogluconolactone, and 6 phosphogluconate, all of these are 6 carbon 1 phosphate molecule. यहां से मैं क्या कर रहा हूं, एक कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड मॉलिक्यूल को निकाल दे रहा हूं. आई एम एसेंशियली रिमूविंग वन कार्बन मॉलिक्यूल, एंड व्हेन वन कार्बन मॉलिक्यूल इज रिमूव्ड, that 6 carbon molecule will turn into a 5 carbon molecule, which is ribulose 5 phosphate. That whole thing is the oxidative phase, because it is repeatedly undergoing oxidation. ठीक है, making a 5 carbon molecule, 5 carbon 1 phosphate molecule, which is ribulose 5 phosphate. That is the oxidative phase. Doubts? Okay, now from here on out will be the non-oxidative phase. Ribulose 5 phosphate, ये जो oxidative phase है ना, ये 3 time occur होता. So what is happening is you are getting 3 molecules of ribulose 5 phosphate. The same 4 reactions will occur 3 times. Glucose, 3 molecules of glucose 6 phosphate will get converted into 3 molecules of ribulose 5 phosphate. ठीक है, the whole reaction will occur 3 times. Now essentially, remember, you have 15 carbon molecules at this point. Okay, because you have 3 molecules of ribulose 5 phosphate, 3 into 5 will be equal to 15 molecules. Okay, just keep it in the back of your mind. You have 3 molecules of 5 carbon molecules, 5 carbon and 1 phosphate. तो क्या होता है यहाँ पर, let us suppose मैं ऐसा लिखा, one second, 1 molecule of ribulose 5 phosphate has 5 carbons and 1 phosphate. Okay, it will have hydrogens and oxygens as well. For now, forget about that. Just remember there are 5 carbons and 1 phosphate. The whole reaction is occurring 3 times. मतलब ये पूरे को मैं 3 से मल्टीप्लाई कर देता हूँ into 3. So this also gets multiplied into 3. 5 into 3 is equal to 15. 1 into 3 is equal to 3. So I have a total of 15 carbon molecules and 3 phosphate molecules in the form of 3 molecules of ribulose 5 phosphate. Okay, from here on out the reaction will proceed into non-oxidative phase. Okay, now the first reaction that occurs, see, ribulose 5 phosphate will undergo a isomerization reaction. ठीक है, in the presence of two different form of isomers. तो एक is epimerase, the other is isomerase. Essentially isomerization reaction is occurring wherein the number of carbons, everything, the chemical number, chemical formula is remaining the same, only their structure is changing, their position is changing and the structure is changing. So in the presence of ribulose 5-phosphate epimerase, it will form xylulose 5-phosphate. In the presence of ribose 5-phosphate isomerase, it will form ribose 5-phosphate. Be very careful with these enzymes. ठीक है, ribulose 5-phosphate. Now यहाँ पर एक ही एंजाइम एक ही रिएक्शन से बता रहे हैं. Essentially it is only showing in this particular image, it is only showing this reaction through a single molecule of ribulose 5-phosphate. You have to remember that there are three molecules. Oxidative phase occurred three times, meaning one molecule of ribulose 5-phosphate is getting converted into xylulose. One molecule of ribulose 5-phosphate is undergoing isomerization and becoming ribose. You still have one molecule of ribulose left. Okay, so again it remains the same. I still have 15 carbons. It is just that their form has changed. One has become xylulose, one has become ribose, one has remained ribulose. Okay, now यहाँ से the reaction will change a little bit. What will happen is xylulose 5-phosphate, for now forget about this one, I'll explain it in a bit. Forget about this reaction. ठीक है, जो straight line नीचे glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate को जा रही, forget about that one. Just concentrate on what is happening in the in between. ठीक है, in the middle जो image में है वो क्या हो रहा है उस पर concentrate करो. You have one molecule of xylulose 5-phosphate and one molecule of ribose 5-phosphate, right? Both of them are 5 molecules of carbon and 2 molecules of phosphate total. Now what I'm doing is I am mixing them up and I'm separating them in a different way. So for example, let us suppose I have 2 packets of milk. Okay, imagine I have 2 packets of milk, both of them are 1 liter. Okay, I have 2 packets of milk, both of them are 1 liter packets. What I am doing is I am adding both of them in one container. Okay, now what will happen, I will have 2 liters of milk, right? मैं 2 पैकेट लिया मिल्क के and I'm putting them in one container in some vessel. I have 2 liters of milk now. What I am doing is essentially I am removing a little bit of milk out of it. So instead of making clear halves, what I'm doing is, let us suppose I keep 1.6 ml inside that container, I remove 400 ml. I will get two different packages of milk, one which is 400 ml, the other is 1.6 ml, 1.6 liters. Okay, the same reaction is occurring here. One 5 carbon molecule and the other 5 carbon molecule, both of them are adding to each other and again separating. Now that separation occurs in such a way that two 5 carbon molecules, which is total 10 carbons, will get separated in such a way that you get one molecule of 7 carbon and one molecule of 3 carbon. Okay, so what I'm doing is essentially, if I show it on this thing, I have 5 carbon 1 phosphate and I have 5 carbon 1 phosphate. This is xylulose, this is ribose. ठीक है, I am adding both of them. तो मेरे को क्या मिलता है, 10 carbon 2 phosphate, right? I will split them up in a different way. I will not split them up into 5 5. I will split them up into 7 and 3. 7 carbon 1 phosphate, 3 carbon 1 phosphate. ठीक है, that is the reaction that you see here. ठीक है, so the 7 carbon molecule will be pseudoheptulose 7 phosphate and the 3 carbon molecule will be glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. That reaction is occurring in the presence of transketolase. ठीक है, in the presence of transketolase, xylulose 5 phosphate, which is a 5 carbon molecule, 5 carbon 1 phosphate, and ribose 5 phosphate, which is another 5 carbon 1 phosphate molecule, will add together and they will separate. ठीक है, and they will separate in such a way that there is uneven distribution of carbons. एक में 7 कार्बन आया, दूसरे में 3 कार्बन आया. Now again they will combine. ठीक है, in the presence of trans aldolase, a different enzyme, these two will combine again and you will get, see यहाँ पर 7 and 3 है ना, total will again be 10. They will again unevenly be distributed. Uneven distribution is occurring in such a way that you are getting a single 4 carbon molecule and the other 6 carbon molecule. The 6 carbon being fructose, the 4 carbon being erythrose. So if you see here, 1 second, this is a 7 carbon molecule. Let me use a thinner pencil. This is a 3 carbon molecule. Both of them are adding together making 10 carbons, right? Those 10 carbons will, in the presence of transaldolase, will be separated in again unequally to make a 4 carbon molecule and one 6 carbon molecule. Okay, so first product that you get at the end of HMP shunt is fructose 6 phosphate. Okay, फॉर नाउ ये मिल गया एक 6 कार्बन, फॉरगेट अबाउट दिस फेलो. ठीक है, this is one result that you got at the end of HMP shunt. Forget about that fellow. Now, what do we have remaining? We have one molecule of erythrose 4-phosphate. And remember, यहाँ पर तीन molecules थे ना ribose 5-phosphate के. Initially, I told you oxidative phosphorus, the oxidative phase will occur 3 times. Only 2 participated in this reaction. That third fellow, third ribulose 5-phosphate, will again undergo the reaction on the left. It will be subjected to ribulose 5-phosphate epimerase. It will turn into one molecule of xylose. What happens now is this 5 carbon molecule and this 4 carbon molecule will add together. So what do I have now? 5 plus 4 will be 9 carbons, right? 9 carbons in the presence of transketolase will transfer in such a way that I get 3 and 6. Okay, I have 5 carbons and 4 carbons, total of 9 carbon. I can split that 9 into 3 and 6 as well. So I will get another molecule of fructose 6-phosphate and a molecule of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. That is the total yield of that is the total molecules, not the yield. That is the total number of molecules of HMP shunt pathway. अभी समझ में आया? Do you want me to repeat anything, or did you not understand any particular reaction? Feel free to ask. You can put it in the chat as well. If you didn't understand anything, you can message me directly.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now,
Okay, sir.
यहाँ पर I'm guessing everyone has understood. Now, here the important point, how energy is being generated, because I told you HMP shunt is used for energy generation as well, right? In the particular, as an alternative to your glycolysis and TCA, this is also used. If you remember when I was explaining glycolysis, I told you NADPH undergoes oxidative phosphorylation. There is a different reaction called oxidative phosphorylation, जिसमें क्या होता, NADPH will get converted into 3 molecules of ATP. Now, in this HMP shunt, you can see that there are 2 molecules of NADPH being produced, meaning the total yield of HMP shunt will be 6 ATP. You are able to produce 6 molecules of ATP. Okay? Because you are getting 2 NADPH. These NADPH, again, think of it as gold that you are getting. In the last class, I think one class before the last class, I told you that this is an investment that you are getting, you are performing, and you are getting some amount of profit as cash and some amount as some valuable material. And imagine that valuable material is gold. That gold here is NADPH. Later on, you can sell that gold for some other value. Okay? So NADPH essentially is that gold that your cell is making, and that can be later on converted into ATP. A single molecule of NADPH, when it participates into oxidative phosphorylation, it will turn into 3 molecules of ATP. That is how you will get 6 molecules of ATP along with 2 molecules of fructose 6-phosphate at the end here, and a single molecule of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, that is HMP shunt pathway. Now, there are a few hormones that are able to regulate HMP shunt pathway, controlling HMP shunt pathway essentially. Two main hormones. One is insulin, the other is thyroid hormone. Okay. Insulin inhibits the synthesis of dehydrogenase. Dehydrogenase is the first enzyme that is, if you remember, glucose 6-phosphate say 6-phosphogluconate, the first dehydrogenation reaction. This one second. Look at the first reaction, glucose 6-phosphate to 6-phosphogluconolactone. There is a dehydrogenase enzyme here. Insulin controls the production of that dehydrogenase. If excessive amount of insulin is present, that dehydrogenase will not be produced. If dehydrogenase is not produced, you will not get the end products. HMP shunt is stopped essentially. Okay? If there is a lot of insulin, HMP shunt cannot occur properly. On the other hand, thyroid hormone will enhance the activity of glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. So they are opposite in functions. If a person has high amounts of insulin, their HMP shunt pathway will not occur as much in them or in those cells. If thyroid hormone is high, there will be high amount of high occurrence of HMP shunt pathway and high output of G3P, fructose 6 phosphate and all of that. The energy generation will essentially increase when thyroid hormone is present, because it is enhancing that hormone, the this thing that is enhancing the enzyme glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase. Insulin inhibits that enzyme. Okay, that is how your body is regulating HMP shunt pathway. Whenever your body thinks that okay, I have enough amount of energy, it will stimulate the production of insulin. HMP shunt pathway stops. If there is not enough amount of energy and glycolysis and TCA are not able to work, it will stimulate the production of energy by stimulating thyroid hormone production and essentially increasing glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase. All right, so that is HMP shunt pathway. Then the next class will look at glycogenesis and glycogenolysis. Okay, please make sure that you practice glycolysis, Cori cycle, and you practice this as well. Okay, HMP shunt pathway, very very important with respect to the exams. And see, you will need to practice it multiple times because it has to become second nature. These are many names that you have to simply memorize, especially long cycles, glycolysis hai, gluconeogenesis hai, wo pure, you have to remember the names and their order correctly, especially the enzymes that are involved, the cofactors that are involved, all of that. Eh, that is why I would suggest that you start off early.